The way you manage your time is the way you manage your life. Ladies and gentlemen, what you do with your time today will decide your story of tomorrow. So, to quote Ray Lewis, one of the greatest middle linebackers in NFL history and also an amazing motivational speaker, if tomorrow wasn't promised, what would you give for today? Let me ask y'all something. If I handed you $86,400 right now
Cash money.
and told you that you must spend every penny by midnight or lose it forever, how carefully would you use it? Would you be strategic with every dollar and cent, utilizing it to invest and purchase items of value? Or might you be reckless and squander it on things that depreciate as soon as you buy them? Something to think about. Here's something else to give careful thought to. What if I told you that every single day God gifts us something far more valuable than that $86,400? What if I told you that every single morning of every single day, God deposits 86,400 seconds into our life account? And when the clock strikes midnight, since we've been having some confusion lately on social media about the placement of clock hands, 9 o'clock. When the clock strikes midnight, whatever we didn't use with purpose, guess what? It's gone forever. No refunds, no rollovers, no grace period. Ladies and gentlemen, what are you doing with your 86,400 seconds? What are you doing with your time? What are you doing with the one resource that every single person has in equal measure? Time. Being the one thing we all have, but absolutely none of us can afford to waste. Just so there is no confusion. Time can't be captured. It's not a wild animal. It can't be borrowed or paused, saved or recycled. Time can't be deposited into a checking or savings account and then made a withdrawal of at a later time. Once it's gone forever. And despite what so many people think or say, time, not money, is without question your most valuable currency. So here lies the dilemma. If it's so valuable, if time is our most valuable currency, then tell me, why do so many of us guard our possessions, cars, jewelry, purses, shoes with our lives, but then turn around and give our minutes away so carelessly? The way you manage your time is the way you manage your life. Ladies and gentlemen, what you do with your time today will decide your story of tomorrow. So, to quote Ray Lewis, one of the greatest middle linebackers in NFL history and also an amazing motivational speaker, if tomorrow wasn't promised, what would you give for today? Welcome, family, to True Vision is Unselfish, where we strive to glorify God while unlocking the purpose and the calling that God has over your life. Today starts part 5, and I believe the final message of this series, I'm not sure, of this series title, How to Get Out of Your Head and Into Your Greatness. As you have probably already guessed, yes, this message is centered around time. That one invaluable, irreplaceable, incalculable, immeasurable resource that everyone has equally. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, young or seasoned, we are all given the same hours in a day. And even though we are all given the same hours in a day, we utilize and view our time differently, don't we? I mean, that's to be expected. We all have different personalities. We're at different stages in our lives. Just to share a few examples of how some spend their time. Some people view time as an investment, utilizing it and building their faith, growing spiritually and mentally. Some people see every moment as an opportunity to redeem the time by looking for ways to serve and making decisions that align with their purpose. To them, every single day is a gift and every second is loaded with potential. Some of us, on the other hand, treat time as a burden, daily repeating the phrases, I don't have enough time or I ran out of time. And because they live this way, they constantly feel rushed, anxious, and overwhelmed, which in turn leads them to waste even more time stressing instead of prioritizing. Instead of mastering their schedule has now mastered them. And then there are those who see time as something to be spent carelessly, like loose change. They pass the hours scrolling, one distraction after another, leaving one platform just to migrate to another, leaving one video game system just to go to the next, earnestly seeking the next thrill, while others worry about things beyond their control or chasing after temporary pleasure. So here again lies the problem. Once that time is spent, you can't spend the block on time to get it back. Hey, that was a bar right there. Hold on for just a second. Hey, who do we need to call to get that copyrighted or trademark for infringement purposes? Say what? Huh? Huh? What'd you say? Listen, man, now is not the time to be asking that type of question. Okay. Hey, but check this out though. You could take some of that bass out your voice though. I appreciate you. We'll talk about it. I was just saying. Don't let me hear y'all using that line. You can't spend the block on time to get it back. That's mine. Hey, that rhyme.
That boy is good. Good and terrible.
Listen, I just wrote it this way. It just so happens that it rhymes. Ladies and gentlemen, here lies just a few examples of how some of us spend our time. Family, allow for me to take a pause from the calls for just a moment. My assignment in these messages is striving to inspire, challenge, and motivate, but most importantly, to be the conduit that God has called me to be. I do believe deep in my soul that God has gifted me with the ability to become an amazing speaker. And I just want y'all to know that every day I am striving tirelessly to become a better speaker, writer, editor than I was in the previous message. Now, as y'all can see, my elevator don't go all the way to the top floor. I do like to have fun and joke around. And now, every time I sit in front of this camera, I am getting more comfortable allowing for my natural personality and proclivities to be displayed while speaking. Go ahead with your P's, and I don't even know if proclivities fit there, but it sounded great. Ultimately, what I am trying to say is this. In order for me to be the man that God has called me to be, I got to be myself. So yes, you are going to see me incorporating more humor into my messages because I'm bringing you the real me. You dig? People don't say that no more, do they? Can we get that last part edited out? I sound like I'm in the 70s Soul Train line or something. I feel like I should have on some bell bottoms and some sideburns. Can we? Okay, you still got an attitude because I told you chill out. Listen, I got a question for you. Who spelled who's you know that's not how you spelled that. Okay, never mind. Um, so anywho, I just felt led to share that. So more humor, the real me. Y'all got me? Gracias. All right, back to our regularly scheduled program. So usually at this juncture in the message, I would take time to do a quick review of the previous messages before I get into the heart of the message. We not doing that today. Yeah, no. If you are interested in watching those previous messages, they will be listed in the description below. Also, if it helps, some of those messages will automatically appear at the end of this video. So please check them out when you get a chance. Thank you. So what I would like to do at this present point is I would like to circle back to that very powerful and profound question that I posed at the introduction of this presentation. If tomorrow wasn't promised, what would you give for today? What would you do with your time if tomorrow wasn't promised? Put it in the comment section below. And while y'all are thinking about that, if you were wondering, what made me decide to write another message on time? Was I looking at the clock and said, you know what, time would be a great subject? Yes, no, I'm joking. Here in a few minutes, I'm going to explain one of the main reasons for me writing this message. But before I do that, I got to hit y'all with a question that will cause you to sit if you were standing and stand up if you were sitting. It's that profound. I heard one of my mentors, Myron Golden, ask this question, and it has just stuck with me all these years. This here is a reminder of why time is so very, very powerful. Have you ever thought about how, when you say live in the present or live for the now, how as soon as you spoke it, it became the past? Did I lose anybody? Yeah, I got you. I'm going to say it again. Have you ever thought about how, when you say live in the present or live for the now, how as soon as you spoke it, it became the past? Just think about it. The second that you said the word now, it became then. Or if you said live in the present, it became the past. Just that quickly, ladies and gentlemen, time is fleeting. Just another reason it cannot afford to be wasted. Amen. So here lies one of the main reasons for me writing this message. It is because I really want the audience to see from a tough season in my life something that I have personally experienced that displays just how truly precious time is. Years ago, I did write messages on the importance of effective time management and some of the obstacles that we encounter in our daily lives, right? But this particular message is birthed and rooted out of challenges and lessons that life has taught me, along with some truly tragic events that have transpired as of lately that have been truly heartbreaking and eye-opening to hear and see, at least to me anyway. Just to share a few of these tragic events, in the course of the last several months in my surrounding area, there have been multiple incidents where there were casualties from car accidents. I mean, me just driving up and down the road, seeing mangled car parts and broken glass and all these new memorials with teddy bears, lit candles, and flowers on the side of the road where someone lost their life that was not there the previous week. There was a big fire that occurred about a month or so ago, right before school started. They claimed the lives of 6 people, 4 of them being children. There was a young lady that was kidnapped, and her body was recovered on the side of the road about a week or two later, unable to see her 20th birthday. Truly tragic events. And these are just some of the casualties. Ladies and gentlemen, I do believe all these people started the year with high expectations, thinking that they had more time, not knowing that they would not make it to see Christmas of 2025. Being completely authentic, every time one of these incidents hit my timeline, I started praying for their families. And while I was praying for their families, I was thanking God for his grace and mercy over my family, friends, and over my life. Because guess what? These tragic events should be a constant reminder to everyone to be grateful. It doesn't matter how hard it gets, make it a daily discipline to remind yourself to be grateful, because there is someone out there that is worse off than you. There is someone out there that wishes they had a fraction of what you have. There's an old proverb that goes something like this: I was once sad because I had no shoes, until upon the street I met a man who had no feet. If you're flustered by that proverb, the person was simply saying they were sad because they didn't have any shoes to put on their feet. Maybe somebody stole their shoes and their feet were cold, until they met someone who didn't have any feet for shoes to be put on. People of God, be grateful. Because with gratitude, optimism is sustainable. When you can find something to be grateful for, then you can find something to look forward to, and that will give you the strength to continue to carry on. Amen. So I stated earlier that this message was birthed from challenges and lessons that life has taught me. So please allow for me to finally expound upon that. Listen, I wasn't really sure if I was going to share this, but I believe someone here needs to hear it. Many years ago, and a few thousand less gray hairs, a former coworker and I, we became really good friends. Just to kind of give you some background, it's rare for me to befriend someone that I work with. I've been through some ish, so I've learned to set boundaries, especially when it comes to coworkers. Anywho, him and I, we kept in contact after I was no longer working with the company. One day out the blue, he called me. We had a real heartfelt conversation. We stayed on the phone for at least 2 hours, closer to 3 hours, talking about different subjects, shared some laughter, some great memories. Towards the end of this call, we both agreed, hey man, we need to link up, hang out. Typical for how you've been in a phone conversation with someone you haven't seen or talked to in a while, right? Fast forward to about 3 months later, got a phone call. Same friend was in a car accident where he sustained a cut and he was being hospitalized. Many of you probably thinking like me, okay, car accident, he got a cut, it'll heal, right? I'm confused. Why is he in the hospital? How severe is this cut? So now what I didn't know is that the cut got infected and my friend had leukemia. So now I got to do some research because I ain't no doctor or nurse. I attend Google University from time to time, but from what I understand, leukemia disrupts the production and the function of white blood cells, which makes fighting off an infection for leukemia patients that much more difficult. So this cut that I thought was minor was actually life-threatening. My timelines might be a little off because this was many years ago, but I want to say very shortly after the accident, I got a phone call from my brother telling me our mutual friend, the one who was in a car accident, had just called to inform him that he was given 90 days to live. I ain't say 6 months. I ain't say a year. I ain't say 2 years. 90 days. Keeping it all the way 100. I stayed strong the entire time my brother and I talked on the phone. But let me tell y'all something. When I hung up that phone, your boy cried. Same person who I just told months ago we needed to link up and hang out was just given 90 days to live. So my brother and I decided to call out one day from our jobs and went to see our friend days after we got the news. We had a heartfelt visit, shared plenty of laughs. I remember asking him how he was feeling. He was always in good spirits, always smiling, laughing. Told him we'd be back next week. They gave him 90 days, right? We got time, don't we? Shouldn't we? He was gone before we could make it back the next week. We made the assumption that we had more time. I ain't forgot about you, bro. Rest in peace, Los. I'm sure so many of us others have a story to tell where they assumed they had more time. Again, I can't stress this enough to make you aware of just how truly precious time is, but also to remind you to cherish the relationships that you had with loved ones. Don't leave everyone on red, READ. Respond back to those text messages. Call those friends back. Even though y'all had words, y'all work it out. You never know when someone else's time or your time is going to expire. Because the real tragedy isn't that life is short. But the real tragedy is we act like it's not. So, you want to get out of your head and into your greatness? Understand that every single breath we take is a gift from God. It truly is. And every moment that He gives us carries eternal weight. Scripture reminds us that our lives are but vapor, here today, gone tomorrow. This is why we cannot afford to waste the precious time entrusted to us. Each passing day is an opportunity to serve, to love, to grow, and to walk in the purpose that God designed for you and I. So let us choose to live with intention. It's a choice, redeeming the time for His glory, because how we use our days will echo through eternity. People of God, never feel that you don't matter or think that your time is being wasted if you are doing what God has called you to do. Your time does truly matter, because maybe somewhere in a broken home, there's a child praying daily. They waiting for you to build it. There's that first time home buyer. They waiting for you to send that email that's in your inbox. There's that old classmate. They waiting for you to take the notes from your journal and turn it into a testimony. This world is waiting for that gift, that special gift that God assigned to you that needs to be shared with millions. So here lies the challenge, and please don't miss this. If you mismanage your time, then you risk missing your purpose. And if you neglect your purpose, well, guess what? You wasted your time. So today, I just want to remind everyone that destiny doesn't just require faith, it requires stewardship. How you manage your minutes will determine how you manifest your mission. People of God, stay loyal to your purpose because your plans may change, but your purpose remains forever. Until next time, be blessed, be encouraged, be grateful, and God bless you.